Welcome to Utah Part 2. In our last episode, we cruised through Monument Valley and Valley of the Gods en route to our campsite in Mexican Hat. Today, we will be heading north on Utah 261. We will climb the Moki Dugway and hike the Citadel Ruins on our way to our next campsite just north of Hanksville. Our first excitement of the day would be this little section of road known as the Moki Dugway, which will drive us right to the top of that mesa. From here, it looks impossible, but we're about to drive right up the side of that cliff face. The Moki Dugway Scenic Backway is a 3-mile stretch of Highway 261 in Utah where the blacktop turns into a dirt road that drastically switches back and forth up the side of a cliff at an 11% grade. The road is well enough maintained for travel and passenger cars, but doesn't seem like it would be suitable for anyone pulling a trailer or driving a larger rig like an RV. It also might not be the first choice of travelers with an aversion to heights. There are quite a few unguarded sections where the drop-off is pretty spectacular. The Moki Dugway was constructed in 1958 by Texas Zinc, a mining company to transport uranium from the Happy Jack mine in Fry Canyon to the processing mill in Mexican Hat. After a climb of about 1,200 feet, there are plenty of views to enjoy from a small parking area. It's interesting to look down at the numerous switchbacks that brought us to this location. Also visible are the Valley of the Gods and Monument Valley in the distance.
Oh yeah. You still want to be too tall. Oh, this is like really wide right here. No problem.
No traffic has the right away. How about that?
Oh, it's amazing. I know. Woo!
Real nice. Oh, guardrail.
Oh, see? That's official. Wow.
We were on our way to do the Citadel Ruins hike today. If you're wanting to take this hike, or pretty much any of the other hikes in this area, you'll need to stop by the Cane Gulch Ranger Station to get a permit. To get to the trailhead, head west from Utah 261 on Cigarette Springs Road. It's about 7 miles from the paved road to the trailhead, and it might be a good idea to have a capable vehicle for this drive. There were a few sandy sections that felt a little squishy under the tires, and a few rockier sections that required some thoughtful tire placement and a little bit of a slower pace. Also, high clearance is necessary to complete the trip without any drama and crunching sounds from the bottom of the vehicle. We never needed the four-wheel drive, but a few sections made me happy to know it was there. The end of the road opens to a nice open parking area, and we were ready to start our hike. This hike would be taking us to some well-preserved ruins built by the Anasazi people. This is probably not a good hike for beginners, as some route-finding skills and some boulder scrambling are required. I also have to mention that there are many fragile artifacts and ecosystems present in this area. Treading lightly and respecting the significance of the surroundings is critical to its preservation. Anasazi people thrived in the Four Corners area from about 200 to 1300 AD, and they chose to live in this beautiful but harsh desert canyon country. They raised corn, domesticated turkeys, and hunted on the nearby hills. They learned to work with native rock, building multi-room homes, large kivas and towers, and storerooms. They also created beautiful pottery and intricately woven baskets. The ruins were built just under the rim of a towering rock formation at the end of a peninsula extending out into Road Canyon. Sheer walls make it impossible to reach the site from the canyon below. The only access is by scrambling down a rocky slope and then crossing the narrow neck of the peninsula. The remains of rock walls can be seen along the narrow neck, built as checkpoints to control access to the fortress. Any attacker would be fully exposed to deadly arrows and other weapons used by the defenders. Even though this hike is only about 5.8 miles round trip, we still spent about 4 hours total time hiking and exploring before we got back on the road. We would be continuing north on Utah 261 and then northwest on Utah 95. This is such a scenic drive with so many opportunities for recreation and sightseeing along the way. We drove right past Natural Bridges National Monument and through a small portion of Canyonlands National Park, with Mount Pinnell towering in the background at 11,413 feet, on our way towards Hanksville. There are enough points of interest along this 100-mile stretch of scenic roadway that we probably could have spent our entire week right here. There's absolutely no doubt that we'll be coming back to see the things that we had to pass up on this trip. Passing Hanksville, we continued north towards Goblin Valley State Park. We would be camping just west of the park in a dispersed camping area that would end up being our favorite of the trip.
Right. Well, while he's parking the vehicle, let's go check it out. I can hardly believe this is our camping spot. Ooh! Another fireplace. Wow. Oh my gosh. Alright.
Again, we managed to find a spot that backed up to a cool little mini canyon. The view looking out of the canyon from our campsite was at one of the many spectacular rock formations of the San Rafael Swell. The swell measures approximately 75 by 40 miles and consists of a giant dome-shaped anticline of sandstone, shale, and limestone that was pushed up from 60 to 40 million years ago. Infrequent but powerful flash floods have eroded the sedimentary rocks into numerous valleys, canyons, gorges, mesas, buttes, and badlands. The resulting palette of colors and shapes is like nothing I've ever seen before. Another result is the creation of a number of slot canyons, one of which we'll be exploring in Part 3. I got the tent set up, grabbed my camera, and eagerly awaited the sunset, which did not disappoint. I was also able to get the drone up again, and I just love the additional perspective it provides. There are numerous campsites in this area, and they're nicely spread out so that it doesn't ever seem like it would feel crowded. Looking east, we also get a nice view of Wild Horse Butte, which is actually inside of Goblin Valley State Park. Goblin Valley State Park has a number of hiking trails, most of which are pretty easy, with the main attraction being thousands of hoodoos referred to locally as goblins. While I was busy filming and taking pictures, Carrie was putting the finishing touches on our campfire and getting set up for dinner. Fortunately, the winds calmed for us this evening, so we were able to enjoy a hot meal cooked on the camp stove before heading off to bed. It was a quiet, dark night, and we got a great night's sleep, which doesn't seem to be the norm for tent camping. Join us for part 3 as we explore the Little Wild Horse Canyon, which begins just about 3 miles from our campsite, and we explore a unique landscape near Factory Butte that left us speechless. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.